Two related things, Taylor. One, you threw a curveball late first quarter with the Ja, Tyus, Dez, Luke all together. Was that something that you had planned from the jump to get to? And then related, what can you tell us about Luke's shoulder situation?
Working backwards, TBD. I think he just got cracked on a screen, just getting evaluated, was feeling fine, in the locker room, good spirits. Was maybe a little bit more precautionary, but I don't have all the details on what happened to Luke outside of where he got hit in his shoulder. And that was definitely by design. I just wanted to try something different, some small ball, the points of attack that, we've been seeing over the course of the series, in different spots at the end of quarters, beginning of quarters. That was something I just wanted to try and see, and we'll evaluate, watch the film, see how good it was for us.
Taylor, just wondering, kind of going off that same point, you had a lot of success with that lineup in the first and in the third quarter. But you sub Dylan Brooks out first in the third. I think that's usually, different from your typical sub patterns. Just wondering, were you planning on going away from Dylan Brooks in that second half if Luke didn't get hurt?
I was just being open-minded, seeing what the game was showing us. Obviously, wanted to be prepared. I mean, obviously, it was a win-or-go-home situation. Just wanted to try different things. Obviously, DB came back in the fourth quarter, and just having Luke out there with Dez, that those two guys on the floor together have been really good for us. And obviously, if Luke doesn't get that stinger, who knows what would happen in the fourth quarter. Too hard to tell. It was just going to be a matter of just kind of reading the situation, reading where we were at. They obviously think Russell went on some crazy run to start the third quarter, so obviously we knew we had to counter. So that was just kind of my gut call.
LeBron had one of his worst games of his career within this context, in a closeout game, things like that. He shot 5 of 17, 1 of 9 from 3. How much did you guys, defensive pressure-wise, have to do with that?
I hope a lot. I mean, we're going to need it again in Game 6. So it's on-ball pressure, it's crowds, it's not let him get going in transition, which I know he did a couple of times. And I'll go back and watch a film and see where he was attacking mostly from, and then just how our defense stood up. But obviously, we know he's a huge focal point, and when he establishes himself with his physicality and force that he plays with, it can be a long game. But I think our guys held up pretty well with executing our pick and roll coverages, and how we were helping, when he had the ball in his hands. I'll just have to watch the film a little bit more.
Taylor, you get double-doubles from Dez, Ja, and Jaren. How much does that help, and how much do you need that to keep the series going?
We need it, for sure. We need better. I'm going to challenge our guys not to be satisfied. I challenge the guys coming into the game that, we've got to establish our physicality. We've got to win the 50-50 ball, matchup there. Showed them clips, late in the game where in the fourth quarter and overtime in Game 4, that cost us the game when we're not battling on the board. So these guys, owning that and coming out with double-doubles is really impressive. We know how important our guard rebounding is when our bigs are battling down there, with Davis and other guys that are crashing. We need more. We need better.
Taylor, in regards to Ja and Dez specifically, they cut. You mentioned they cut your lead to 1 in the third quarter. It's going back and forth, and then you go on that kind of definitive run to close the third. I'm just curious what you saw from the poise your guys had, and you had this big lead, you lose it, and then the response, it seemed like it was led by John Dez. I'm curious what you saw as they were going through
exactly that. I mean, I think I called the timeout. Guys came into the huddle, and we just talked about we just keep weathering it. I mean, they made a run. We knew this, is going to potentially happen at some point, even with a lead starting the second half. And we just got to go out there and just keep executing what we know we're capable of doing, and what we just got to control. I think 2 of his buckets were in transition. 1 was in a pick and roll in the mid-range, and then it's just like, hey, they're going to score. We just got to respond. I thought our pace really picked up in that third quarter, which got Ja going. Our execution in the half court, the spacing and whatnot, really led to good stuff for both him and Dez to operate. Dez starts knocking down threes. You just saw us get a rhythm going there. The group that was in there to finish that third quarter really set a tone for us after that lead getting cut into 1, and then just continue to build it and having a nice lead going to the fourth quarter.
Just kind of on that same point, Ja and Dez both just attacking downhill, but also too crashing glass. Did you see like those two in particular take it upon themselves to play with force and just really kind of set a tone with the urgency in a win-and-go-home situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those guys were spectacular tonight. We're going to need even more and better from them in Game 6. But these guys definitely play with force. That was stuff we were talking about before the game. Every time out, in our play calls and what we were talking about, game plan-wise offensively, how we wanted to attack, it's establishing force and downhill attacks. And and then creating ball movement and advantages on the second side with that. But those guys were great. Obviously, they made their adjustments. The Lakers, keying in on Dez a little bit more. I thought the ball movement was really good. Execute a little bit better, knock down a few more shots, and maybe they get out of it. But I thought those guys, especially, just establishing the pace in the full court, getting out into our transition offense a little bit better. But then in the half court, really attacking and not accepting the pressure that the Lakers have been playing with first 4 games of the series.
Taylor, did you get the sense from your best player and your second best scorer most of the year in Dez that this was the game that they weren't going to let you lose?
Absolutely. I mean, how do you say it? Just the mentality coming out of Game 4, as disappointing as a loss that was, these guys got a lot of fight in them. They got a lot of resolve in them. The moment they walked in the building today, I could see the look in their eyes. But then when I really challenged them and the entire group, there was just this kind of like stoic, poise about them. They knew they received the message well. They knew they were going to go out there and execute it. And we had to have their best. And I'm going to continue to tell them, don't be satisfied because this wasn't our best. We got to continue to search for our best.
You're talking about, the mentality of these guys. X after the game, he's telling the fans, we'll be back, for Game 7. Even before the game, Dez was confident that you could get to a Game 7. Where's that, I guess the question is, what is the locker room, feel like now after this game, having that success in Game 5? It sounds like, the guys are confident going into this next game.
Yeah, confident but determined too. We still know we have a lot of work to do. Challenge them immediately after the game as well. And there's no celebration whatsoever after having, a really nice, victory. So we know we got to go on the road. We haven't run a game on the road in a minute here, and especially in the playoffs, we got to go do it. So I think the focus is being determined, just being determined to go out there and continue to improve. These guys want to continue to get challenged. They told me immediately after the game, keep challenging us like you did going into this game. That's the mentality we got to carry going into another, down 3-2 game.
There were times when the offense was humming and then times when it had a little bit of a lull. I'm curious what you think the difference was during those moments, and then what role did your defense play, I guess, in creating the big runs?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a huge spark in that third quarter, and, the sustainability of it, it's going to come to a point in the fourth quarter where it's going to, slow down a little bit. They make their run, and you don't want to rush into, some poor possessions. There were definitely some possessions we wish you could have back in that fourth quarter. We got to get organized a little bit better. Everyone's got to be on the same page. I thought for the most part we were good, but the times we weren't, we had ugly possessions first half as well. So we just got to just keep pushing that pace as much as possible. I mean, lulls are going to happen. That's where we got to really dial up our execution, and it's going to be good to watch the film and clean up those situations. I think the players even said in their post on court interview that we can't let a lead slip away like that as hard as we built it up. And did that answer your second one? What was yours? Yeah. Well, it was important. I mean, again, it's playoffs are a series of adjustments. We're not making these wholesale adjustments. We had a couple of things that we threw out there from a pick and roll standpoint that I thought benefited us. And again, it's like when we don't execute our game plan, they make us pay. They get the looks that they want. They may miss them, but we got to just disrupt the rhythm as much as possible. But I thought our defense was really good. The way we swarmed, obviously, we just talked about 3 guys that had 10 rebounds. That's huge for us. We've got to clamp down on defense. I said it starts with our defense going into the fourth quarter. I said it starts with our defense, and that's what let us down in Game 4. Excuse me. Game 5, we got to have it for 48 minutes.
Small change on the back of the rotation with Conchar over Roddy in this one. Were there specific attributes you were trying to get into the game with that decision?
I think Roddy's done a really good job and was just kind of, looking at some of the numbers, again, diving into the matchups and lineups and, where Jitty's had success, where Santi's had success, where D-Rod's had success, and just trying something where, Jitty's been impactful for us all season long. His on-ball defense, obviously in Game 2, he was big for us at home. So, trying to just, muster up that again, his rebounding, even though he plays little minutes, he gets in there and he can really help us on the boards. So it's just kind of a good call to maybe just change something, knowing that we were going to do some other things with our lineups as well.
Taylor, when Jaren is picking up those back-to-back fouls like that late in the fourth and you're holding on to that lead, is it a fatigue thing, or do you think it's just how the Lakers are just trying to attack him? If so, what are you telling him when you're calling timeouts?
I mean, just stay locked in, stay poised. I think his teammates are doing a great job too. I think the second one may be a little bit out of frustration. There was a loose ball one as well. So we know that he's got to continue to get better in that area, and he's done a pretty good job all season long. Luckily, it didn't bite us, but I thought he responded well, and we're just continuing to tell him to go out there, be aggressive. Stay disciplined as much as you can, stay locked in. Whatever happens, just get to the next play. And I thought for the most part, over the course of the game, he did a really good job of that. Great, thanks everyone.